Welcome to another video in the Freelancing Journey playlist. To follow the journey from the beginning, you can check the playlist in the more information icon up here on YouTube. In the last video, I explained the recruitment process for the SAP freelancing projects. In the video today, I will discuss a very important part in the recruitment process, which is the SAP consultant CV. So I will give you some of my CV tips for the SAP freelancing projects. First step, which is very basic and very important, is to always have a Word and a PDF version of your CV available on one of the online drives. So you can use OneDrive, Google Drive, or any other online drive you like. You never know when you will be contacted by a recruiter for a freelancing opportunity, and if you like the opportunity, you should always respond as fast as you can. So it's very important that you have an updated version available so you can get access to it from anywhere and send it to the recruiter. Second tip is create multiple versions of your CV for the different categories of opportunities you receive. For example, I get contacted for freelance opportunities as an SAP trainer, S4HANA implementation projects, S4HANA rollout projects, and S4HANA migration projects. And I have a different CV version for each of these. For example, in my training CV, at the beginning, I highlight the important things related to training. So I mention my YouTube channel, my Udemy courses, my LinkedIn profile and the different blogs that I wrote, and any important training projects that I delivered. I also mention my SAP certifications because this is important for a trainer. And then I mention the different projects I did as implementations, rollouts, and so on. But inside the details of every project, I highlight the training part. As an SAP consultant in the projects of implementation, for example, we do requirement gathering, implementation, training, and go live support. So I would mention each of these steps briefly, but then in the training part, I would add more details. So for example, I would say that I deliver training to how many users, for how many business processes, for how long. This way, when the SAP recruiter and the customer check my CV, they can see that I'm an experienced SAP trainer. One more thing I add in the details of every project is I mention whether I was a freelancer or not. Being an experienced freelancer who did some other freelancing projects before gives more security to the recruiter and to the customer that me as a consultant is someone who knows how the freelancing works and someone who actually enjoys doing this. I'm not doing this just because I couldn't find a full-time opportunity, but I'm actually doing it because I know that it is a good way of contracting and that I like this model. And the same would go for the other versions of my CV. So for the S4HANA implementation CV, I would mention the implementation projects, the different technical experiences I have, and any other details important for implementations. For the S4HANA rollout projects, I would mention the rollout projects, and also I would highlight the important activities that are related specifically to rollouts, such as, for example, receiving knowledge transfer for the SAP template solution from the Center of Excellence team. When we do rollout projects, normally the project would start with some workshops with the internal SAP consulting team for the customer, where they explain what is the SAP solution they implemented, because this is what we will implement in the new company code as freelance consultants. So I would mention this and mention any other activities I find important for rollouts and so on. So first, always have a Word and a PDF version of your CV available on the online drive. Second is create different versions of the CV for the different categories of opportunities you receive. And third, always mention the date when you last updated the CV in the name of the file. So your CV file name should be, for example, SAP Finance Trainer or SAP Finance Consultant underscore your name underscore the date when you last updated this version. We are always doing different projects and updating our CV, and we also have different versions of the CV for the different opportunities. So it is very easy that you send an outdated version or the wrong version of the CV to a recruiter. So it's very important that in the file name, you mention what is the category of the CV. So this is for training, this is for consulting, and also you mention the date when you last updated the CV. This way, you can easily know that you are sending the last updated version. Number 4 is an answer to a question that we all ask. Should we share our CVs only in PDF version, or should we also share the Word version if requested by the recruiter? Personally, when I am being contacted by a recruiter for a freelance opportunity, I always share the PDF version. But then if the recruiter asks also for the Word version, here I need to evaluate the situation. So first, I would evaluate if this is a real opportunity or not. And I can do this by checking the level of details that the recruiter shared. So if the recruiter has shared a good level of details that shows the recruiter is a professional and this opportunity is real, then I would also evaluate, is this recruiter working for a company that I know, that has a well-known name, that I have seen on LinkedIn, or that I know someone who has worked with? And then if yes, I would share the Word version with the recruiter. But if I am receiving an opportunity that doesn't have a good level of detail from a recruiter that I don't know, who works for a company that I don't know, and then he asks me for a Word version, then I would say, no, I'm sorry, I can only share the PDF version. And I understand why some recruiters would ask for the Word version, by the way. I know that sometimes the recruiters would remove the contact details of the consultant before sharing the CV with the customer. So this way the customer can judge the consultant only by the experiences that are available in the CV, and the customer has no way to directly contact the consultant. Because I know that it happens sometimes that the customer would contact the consultant and they contract together directly without going through the recruitment company. So this is something that I understand. I also understand that sometimes the SAP recruiters would modify the CV to highlight certain experiences or hide certain projects or so on, to make the CV more presentable to the customer, to the opportunity. And I think this is a good thing for me and also for the recruiter. And I don't see what is the harm that can happen from this. So I don't mind actually sharing the Word version if this is a real opportunity and if I know the recruitment company. So this is my own point of view. I know that this is a question that's being asked a lot and everyone has a different opinion. So I wanted to share with you what I personally do when I receive this kind of requirement. Over the years and the different projects I did, I have developed a CV template that I use for the different versions. This template is available to the Elite channel members on the Elite Documents library. If you would like to join us, you can check the channel membership program. I will leave you a link in the more information icon up there. Let me know what you think of these CV tips. Also share with us your own tips for CV creation. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again soon.